Pastor Eric. I do have a presentation, so I'm going to take a second here to set that up. Part of my speech strategy here is that I like to use presentations sometimes, and other times I won't. So in this case, it's my first time trying out presentation method. So I have roughly five or six, not 36 slides, and it's designed to connect with you and improve my, being comfortable up here speaking. So, restart. Okay. First off, Mark, thanks for a great speech. I think the subject is actually more similar than our differences. I think our pathways may be more different, but I really liked your topic because it was actually similar to what I'm speaking. I came up with this corporate or world connections via a corporate perspective. So my audience is a little bit, and I exist in this corporate world. Maybe not all of us here. Some are not from CNH. But, so I kind of tailored this idea maybe to a corporate audience. The idea that I have is that we're here, we work in a corporate setting, we drink our coffee, we work on computers, but we know that there are other places in the world that are quite different, or we perceive it to be quite different. We know cultures are different, traditions are different, religions are different, other places. Economical standpoint, whether you're rich or you're poor, you can go anywhere to find us. And sometimes the differences are just here in America. I found myself going through life is actually love to observe it. And as I grew and got a little bit more mature, I realized I like to bridge the connections instead of seeing the differences. So I like to put myself in another culture, and then somehow I just learned to say, how are we actually similar? So I took this idea and tried to go to a far other place, and this place is Jamaica. It's something that I have a very strong connection to, but I'm going to share with you to bring together connection. So there's this little town far off. It's in Jamaica. It's actually where my wife is from. I met her down there a long time ago. She now lives here. She's a nurse, Ephrata Community Hospital. She's a nurse there. She works for Wellspan. It's a corporation. I work for CNH. It's a corporation. But she actually came from a very small town way out in the mountains of Jamaica, which when I first went there, I thought it was so different. So different. Economic standpoint or their culture. What is similar is they can speak English, so I was very easy to communicate. To Mark's point, he saw the difficulties with communication, but I was always able to talk because we shared that language. Sorry for the blurriness on that picture for whatever reason. This is the town, and from a point you can just see that it's in the hills and in the mountains, and there's houses and people live all through there. You can't even really see their houses, but they all live all through there. And they live a life, and they're trying to, produce money, provide for their family, just like we are, just like we do, just why I come to work. But it does seem different. And when I exist in this world, in corporate world, I was like, man, how far are we really different? Look what I wear and dress, what I do on my computer. Team center is this term that maybe nobody knows what that is, but in my engineering world, we battle that every day, and I think nobody else in the world really has to deal with this. But actually, a big corporation called Alcoa, which is Aluminum Company of America, had come into these areas because there's a raw material called bauxite. It's the raw material to make aluminum. It's the brown dirt exists all throughout underneath this ground, and they dig it up, and and people in the communities work for them, and they sell to the world. We as a company buy that aluminum after it goes through many processes to get eventually maybe to our combines. There's even a place here in Lancaster that works with Alcoa. And I missed this slide, but just a picture of somebody's house. Here it is. I mean, corporate America, right? This is Alcoa's headquarters. It's in Pittsburgh, quite far from that little town. And I'm saying there is a connection because they exist there too. And what fascinated me is that I used to be really against, say, the bauxite company because they really tear up the land. They come in with excavators and dig the dirt, and I always liked the trees and stuff. And I was against that. But the people really didn't always seem like they were against it. They were like, yeah, well, it provides jobs and things, and they try to get involved in it. Supply trucks, people work on the trucks, people work on the excavators, people sell their land. And it exists there, and I always thought it was such a crazy world because there was so much, a world corporation mixed in with this far outreaching community. And I actually was part of this too. I worked there. I had a truck. We hauled dirt, built it down there, and then I really got to experience it. And now what I see here, I see there's actually very many more similarities. My friend, his name is Luke, down there. He has trucks, and I worked with him. And he was actually a very poor boy that ran around barefoot, herded goats, but he was able to move up and went from taxi driver to buying a truck to buying multiple trucks. And he supplies water to the community, and he now has multiple trucks, a very nice house, but his mindset wasn't right into this corporate world, but he exists in it. The one story was, he once called me off the street and said, Karl, I need to do something on the computer that they're asking me to do, and I don't really know what it is. I said, all right, I'll help you out. And he's like, I have to do some safety training through Alcoa, because he had become a contractor to them. And I thought it was funny that Alcoa was making them do a safety seminar. There's no safety. Everybody just does what they can do. And he asked me to do it. We sat down there in his house. It wasn't his house, it was somebody else's house. And we went through this, and all he wanted to do was just, the answers would be answered correctly. So check a box and continue his contract. But it was funny to me because it existed in that world. And here, I have to do all these training seminars that I think I just need to get through it. And like I'm saying, he is also in that same mentality. I was also surprised one day when a lady had come out on the street and blocked the traffic, blocked all the trucks from moving to the back to the unloading site. And she was able to stop that, and the only way that work would go on is if they contacted all the way back to Pittsburgh, got approval to pay some of the local community members their dust money, which is a whole nother story, not gonna get into it, but they needed their payment. And I always wondered if there's people sitting in that building back here, knew what life was really like down there, but they were both in this thing together across the different countries. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for the time.